Outcock, welcome back. Previously, I don't know if you've seen it, but we predicted the relegation fight in the Premier League, which saw us see, skip 5 seconds if you don't want this ruining, Tottenham get relegated. Little stroke of genius for me with Forest game. I know, guys, never did chill out. But we're going to do the same with the Championship, right? There's a few teams involved in this. Obviously, Sheffield Wednesday have died. Oxford United, Leicester, Portsmouth, West Brom, and Blackburn are the sides that I would involve in this battle. I think Charlton upwards is a bit pointless. Even if you want to sort of involve Charlton, they need a win from 7 games. It's happening. You know what I mean? Charlton are fine. Blackburn to Oxford is a real question here. Now, I've got this on, in case you didn't know. I'm a Barnsley fan, and I want to do this for 2 reasons. Number 1, you see there is no bias. I have already won. I spent probably the first 20 years of my life watching Barnsley finish there. So I'd like to think I know what it takes to get promoted and also what it takes to get relegated. I've seen both too many times, okay? We're going to predict every single one of these games from now till game week 46, last game of season. So we've got 7 game weeks to go through. Anyone that's not involved, like Middlesbrough Millwall, as much as it's a fantastic game, we're not going to do that. So we're only going to do the 5 teams that are involved in this. So first up, Blackburn are away at Birmingham. Blackburn, obviously, there's some stereotypes you can run with here. For example, Leicester, big egos, big players, quite good at first 2 phases of play, quite poor up front, horrendous number 9. Blackburn, squad sold from underneath manager. New manager, yes, but he's part-time. So you've got a lot of different things you can run with, and ultimately we are going off vibes. But I think it did quite well on Premier League once, so I'm going to do it again. Birmingham are better at home than they are away. Just speaking about, obviously, the opposition here for Blackburn. Birmingham are better at home than they are away. They've got more quality. Blackburn look pants. They got a point against Middlesbrough, but they were lucky. It weren't because they defended well. Blackburn was shit. Middlesbrough just could not finish the dinner. I think Birmingham will. I will go 2-0. So a loss for Blackburn to get us going. Leicester versus Preston. I actually think Leicester will be better away from home than they will at home for the rest of this season. Now, when you're a bigger club that has a chance of getting relegated, that is a lot different to, say, Oxford and Portsmouth and Blackburn, who maybe sort of saw it coming. Leicester at home, it'll be like Tottenham. It's the closest thing to Tottenham you could genuinely envision. One of the biggest sides in this division, Leicester, that's got players that are way too good to get relegated, but ultimately you're in this position for a reason. And at home especially, you'll be able to feel crowd. You're going to be nervous. Every sort of eighth bubble touch, you'll hear 25, 30,000 people at Leicester go, oh, fucking hell. Do you know what I mean? They're all going to shit it every 5 seconds. And away teams, if they can come and get on top of you, experienced managers, energetic sides, I think will come and nick points off Leicester all the time. Thankfully for Leicester, Preston are not that. I think Preston won the last game, if I'm being honest. The bet Stoke 3-1, yeah. But I don't really see them troubling Leicester all that much. I don't think Leicester win still, but I'm not giving them the win. I'll go 1-1 there. Portsmouth away in Norwich. I mean, Norwich are one of the most informed sides in the division anyway at the minute. Not a side that you want to be playing. Portsmouth are playing quite good. They've just been absolutely bummed, by the way, by QPR. But apart from that, they're playing quite good. They just can't finish the dinner, and they've got a real problem at top end of pitch. Unfortunately for you, I think you're getting tonked. Oxford at home to Hull is a real chance. It's a real chance. Hull, obviously in top 6, yes. They're not playing that well at the minute. They're conceding a fair few goals. They rely on a top finishing and a real quality array of strikers, which they have got, but I'm not feeling the chances against a low block, really. I think Hull are much better against sides that want to come and play against them. Oxford are not that. Oxford are going to probably sit back and low block it, even though they are at home. Hull's record away is actually quite good because it's rare for an home team to sort of be accepting to play that way, the way you need to play to beat Hull. But I think Oxford will. I think they'll just sit back, ask Hull to break them open. Hull, as good as they are on counter, haven't really got that much quality. It being able to break sides open. I'm going to go 1-0 to Oxford. West Brom and Wrexham. Listen, I think Wrexham are the most disgusting anti-football side to ever exist. I think the Millwall on steroids with some absolutely unbelievable players for this division. But West Brom, under new interim manager, have turned it round. I think it's 2 wins in a row, maybe 1 loss in 5, something like that. He proper went for him at West Brom, and he's got a tune out of a massively underperforming squad. Wrexham, though, have got players and the ability to either go long, spam crosses in from wing-backs to big strikers. They've got moments of brilliance at Middle Park and further up in 10 positions. They've got a lot of good players. Even though West Brom are playing quite well, and I'll obviously say my predictions after this round, I think West Brom will do all right out of these. I do think they will lose 2-1, to be honest, to Wrexham. I'm going to calculate it. So the table below, I'm not going to show it down, but everybody else is going to get draws. So don't look at Coventry and Middlesbrough because they're going to get 7 draws for the rest of the season because I'm putting 0-0 in them all. But I'm not going to show the table until end. The way that I think this will go, I think West Brom will finish the highest out of these sides that I've got down here. Then Oxford, I think Oxford will be safe generally. I think it'll go West Brom highest, Oxford, Portsmouth, Blackburn, Leicester. I think Leicester and Blackburn are the two sides that are going to get relegated. That's what I think coming into this. Now, I'm not going to look at the table until end so that I can't then get where a game left and then change it or have my decision influenced and just do whatever I want. You know what I mean? To get the results that I want. I'm going to look at it at the end we are. But that's the first game done. Second week. God, another big game with Millwall. They've got some big games coming up. This is huge. I'll tell you who it's biggest for here. Leicester. Coming into this game week, you've got Blackburn and West Brom playing each other and Portsmouth and Oxford playing each other. And Leicester are away at Sheffield Wednesday, who are going to finish on -points. That is the biggest weekend for Leicester going. As far as it's concerned, you could not have asked for a better weekend than this. At least two are going to drop points. They might all drop points and all draw with each other, which would probably be Leicester's best thing, to be honest. And Leicester get the best side you could possibly ask for away. Because even if they were at home, I'd be more worried for Leicester if they were at home. In fact, that was opening game and I watched it, and Leicester shit it then. In fact, we'll do Wednesday Leicester first. As much as I despise Wednesday, I would love them to win this game, just to sort of see Leicester sweat. Now, I have no ties to anybody in this. I've proved that at start. I'm a Barnsley fan. Why would I care about any of these teams? But to see the biggest ones go down, I think it'd be quite funny. I love an underdog. Wednesday have actually been scoring recently, though. I will give them one, to be fair. But the amount of pressure that's on Leicester in this is absolutely crazy. But I think they will scrape by with skin of the teeth. I think it'll be a good weekend for Leicester, just. Portsmouth and Oxford, though. Oh, this is two really big games and really hard ones to call. Portsmouth, the Leicester sides, speaking as an experienced pro in this, the Leicester sides want to be at home. You've got to graft. You've got to get crowd on side. You want a good atmosphere. You want to make it an horrible place for teams to come. Leave grass rate long, lump it. You know what I mean? Play Route 1 direct shit football. And you might scam your way out. We did it a few times. Obviously, West Brom, Leicester, that don't really apply to them. But Portsmouth at home, in fact, it sort of applies to West Brom. I think they'd fancy it a little bit. And it probably least applies to Blackburn, who won't want to play at home because they're all anti-owners and the crowds are low and it's an empty ground. Again, I can speak from experience. I think Portsmouth at home, crowd on side, well up for it, well up for a fate and all. Portsmouth can play some decent stuff. I really do think that. But if they want to get in a scrap with Oxford, who are going to come for a scrap, then they can. I don't know whether Oxford will be happy with a point here. I think the majority of games, Oxford away especially, will go for points. And they are hard to break down. And ultimately, Oxford are quite hard to beat, recently. Genuinely, and you might think I'm taking piss, they are a tough game at the minute. You don't want to be playing these sides, these last few games. You want to be playing Bristol City and Preston. They're the games that you want, not Oxford and Portsmouth. But at home, I, honest to God, fancy Pompey. They've got a real problem scoring goals, but I think they will create enough in this game to not really be... I just think eventually something's going to stick for him. I think they'll win that. Blackburn and West Brom. I think West Brom are selling 7,000 tickets. I'm sure I saw it today. Obviously, yesterday at time of you seeing this. But I think West Brom are taking 7,000. What Blackburn are doing... in fact, it shows exactly what Blackburn are about because the owners are like, oh, payday, 7,000 folk paying 30 quid a ticket. Kachinga, come on down, West Brom. Not knowing that Blackburn ain't got an atmosphere to save the life. West Brom are up for a scrap anyway, like we've just said. They're in decent-ish form. They're coming into this with a ridiculous away end, and all noise is going to be from away end. Going up against the Blackburn side that looks a bit pathetic and just really easy to break up and beat. I think some of these sides look tough to break down recently. I won't put Portsmouth in that. I'd put Oxford as that. I'd put Leicester as that, to be honest, a little bit with Guy Rowe, and I'd put West Brom as that. I think Blackburn are too easy to play and are too thick from top down to allow West Brom to bring that many. I'm going to go 0-2. I'm going to go comfortable win for West Brom there. Next up, I've put that one in, by the way, because that could be a genuine possibility. Coventry, Sheffield Wednesday. West Brom are on to Millwall. Tough. Leicester on to Swansea. Tough. Portsmouth away at Middlesbrough. Very tough. Blackburn away at Stoke. Okay-ish. West Brom, Millwall first. I'm sorry, but I'm just going to put it in nice and early. Yes, you're up for a scrap, West Brom, and you're lumping balls into the box. Fantastic. Millwall are probably the most equipped side in the division for dealing with crosses into the box. They've got three monsters at centre-half in Kramer, Taylor and Cooper. If you want to lump crosses on their head, they'll literally get launched from your box to the other one. These are the best aerial defenders probably in division. I think they're probably best backline in division anyway. And I think with the form that Millwall are on, genuine top two contenders, even at this point, I think they'll beat Middlesbrough, to be fair. I think they've got a really good run in after these next couple of games, Middlesbrough and Norwich. I think Millwall get in top two anyway. So that's my own bias there. but I think they will come and scab a 1-0. Leicester at home to Swansea. See, this is, I know I'm saying this is the type of fixture that you want. Swansea got nothing to play for, but they've got in fact, they've got the best striker in division, factually, for goals scored in Vipotnik. They've got some really good players, Galbraith. Obviously, a lot of the midfielders are quite good as well. The manager I quite like. I think they're in a decent spot into next season, Swansea, after quite a tough start. But they're not one that looks like slowing down as much. They lost 3-0 at home to Cov, but Cov are a proper side and they've got something to play for. They're going to get promoted. By this game, probably, this might get them promoted at home to Sheffield Wednesday. Leicester at home, against a side that they know coming into it, this is one you've got to win. That's where pressure comes into account here for Leicester, and that's where I think they're going to drop the points. I think when there's less pressure on them, away games, Gary Rowett, you can afford and be able to defend start to finish away because you're away. If you're at home trying to play that style, crowd are going to get on your back ASAP. And with how many goals Swansea and Vipotnik are scoring, I think they'll get one. And if Swansea go 1-0 up, Leicester I think will crumble. I'm not going to give Leicester losses every week, by the way. But going up against best striker in division, a defence that's got some young uns in it, some inexperienced lads in fairness, or ones that I don't really think are up to that scratch. With that crowd, I'm going 1-1. I'm going to go 1-1 with Leicester. Middlesbrough and Portsmouth, strangely, I actually quite fancy Portsmouth here. Middlesbrough, in the recent last couple of months, they played Oxford, Charlton, someone else, maybe Bristol City, low block sides, the lesser sides that are doing nothing. They've been playing them and really struggling to create. Obviously, they drew away at Blackburn as well, but that was because they're just not finishing enough. I think Middlesbrough are really going to rue the day that they didn't bring a striker in January. I think that is ultimately the reason that they're going to fall out of automatics. In my opinion, I think they'll finish 4th behind Millwall and Ipswich. But I think it's because they cannot break down teams like this well enough. Portsmouth, obviously, as we saw, just conceded 60 QPR. So, not good. But on God's honest truth, I think Portsmouth will go to Middlesbrough and win 1-0. That is genuinely what I think. I think maybe the crowd aspect as well for Middlesbrough. Portsmouth are going to bring some cracking numbers up. Their away ends are really good. Middlesbrough, I think the crowd will be like, why can we not beat these shit sides? You're going away to Birmingham, you go away to Sheffield United, you go away to good sides and win and look really good. And then you struggle massively at home against lesser teams. And I think it's a pattern for a reason. The strikers aren't good enough ultimately if you want to get promoted to Premier League. And I think it's going to cost them. I'm going to go 1-0 Pompey. Defensively, even though they conceded 6, again, I don't think they're that bad defensively. I think it's top end of pitch. So I think you'll struggle to find me putting a lot of goals for any Portsmouth game, but I think they'll win that. Oxford on to Watford. I think even though Watford are sort of in that conversation for playoffs, I think they'll be dead and buried by this point. I don't think they'll have anything to play for. And then the games that you want to play, the problem that Oxford are facing here is that even if they're defensively quite sound, Watford, loser at edge at box, Iran Kuda, Georgian man. I really like that striker. They've got some decent players. They can just make stuff happen, but I think they will win. I'm going Oxford 2-1. Stoke away at Blackburn. These are probably games that you want to be getting, even if it is away. I think this type of fixture is perfect for Blackburn. One with no pressure. Even though there is pressure on Blackburn from the outside, I don't think Blackburn fans will put it on the players as much because they know what's going on with their ownership situation. Like me, Barnes' owners are crap. You know what I mean? We make most player sales in the league by an absolute mile. I think the fans at Barnsley know that the players, even though they're not good enough for us, it's almost not their fault because what you're supposed to do, we've got a 38-year-old striker up front and that's an entire club. What are you supposed to do? You know what I mean? So I think Blackburn are sort of on that boat, like if we can stay up, get in, but his owners are crooks and we don't really blame players that much. I think that's the vibe that they're on. And I think that could help them. I do think they concede probably every game for the rest of the season, but I think they might get a point there, the way it's Stoke. Next up, there's a big game in this one. Blackburn are home to Coventry. Oh dear. Oxford away at Derby. Oh dear. West Brom away at Preston. Nice, I guess. And Portsmouth play Leicester, 4th last game of the season. Blackburn on to Cov, let's not even take piss. They might be promoted. I don't think it'll ever matter if Coventry all turn up pissed up. I really don't. This could go one of two ways. Blackburn might hammer Coventry here, seriously. I think there's an hammer in either side. If Coventry turn up on it, they will win comfortably. If Coventry genuinely turn up levered, which there's a possibility of if they beat Wednesday game before and there'll be enough in front by this point to have won. If they turn up having won promotion, yes, they'll be going for the league title, but if you think they're not getting on it, they get promoted, and day after, you're lost. So they could turn up and get hammered, but I still think, even if they are literally pissed up, I still think they would win. Oxford away at Derby, I really like Oxford. I really think they've got a chance. I think so far I'm giving them enough points here, but I think away at Derby, your luck will probably run out. They're all quite close games with Derby anyway, and Oxford's for the most part, but Derby will still be in with a chance at promotion here. Eustace is a really good manager. They've got some top stuff up top end at pitch, and they're good on set piece, and they're a big side. So I think Derby can hit Oxford in every sort of area that they don't want to be hit. I think Derby will win. West Brom away at Preston, another huge away end, you'd imagine. I think there's goals there, to be honest. I got 2 apiece there. And Portsmouth-Leicester, see, this is what I sort of fancy Leicester for in these sort of games, being away from home with Gary Rowett, do you know what I mean? Against a lesser side, yeah. But I think they're the sort of games that Leicester want to play. Apart from the fact that you're going to Portsmouth, one of the only sides that's got a decent atmosphere, a very good atmosphere. Let me put them in a different bracket. Portsmouth's atmosphere is very good. I think they're going to be well up for it, obviously. It's going to be loud. They're going to kick shit out you start to finish. They're playing on, I know it's a lot of money, but they're going to be on like 10 grand a week, some of these players. If you get relegated, you're down to 5. Leicester have got no relegation wage cuts. If they go down, Harry Winks is going to be running around on 90 grand a week in League One if Leicester exist. There is no jeopardy online when you're going up against a side that's literally going to come out like a wild pack of dogs, chasing you, desperate to beat you for their own livelihoods. And again, they're going to be they're rich fellas anyway, but still, the point's there. And I just don't think Leicester have got the nuts. I don't think they've got the leaders. I don't think they've got the characters needed. Even though they've got the manager for it, I don't think the players are going to buy into it away at Portsmouth. I think they'll go there and crumble and shit the pants. I am going to go Portsmouth 3, Leicester 1. Oh my God. Coventry at home to Portsmouth. It's not even worth it, is it? Oh, to be fair, Oxford at home to Wrexham. I think Wrexham have just got them on the quality aspect. 0-2. Back-to-back 2-0 losses for the boys down at bottom. West Brom at home to Watford. Like, West Brom's running's really good, innit? You know, as we're getting in there, they've got a lot of Watfords and Prestons. They've got a lot of them sides that you sort of want to play. At home, this, to be honest, I think I've given him enough. I think I've given him quite a lot of points here. This might keep them up this game with the results that some other ones have got. I think West Brom have got enough in them. They've got enough bastard. They've got enough fate. They've got the quality that they need. They can just pump balls into the box. And eventually, like I've said, something will stick. I think it'll be a closer game, this. But, oh God, it won't be 21-0. I think West Brom probably get a bit line there. Leicester at home to Hull. Horrible game. Absolutely horrible stuff. Because you're going to be playing a side that wants to sort of come and counter-attack you. Leicester are going to be loads on ball, passing side to side. Crowd gets angry. Your player slips because they're not concentrating. Because it's like honestly, when you're a better side, better players, and you play in Hull, it looks like a training game. I've watched a lot of Hull games this season. They're really good structure and they're really good on break. But they're not interested in pressing you that much. Sometimes, depending on where you are, like Portsmouth away, really good press from McBurney. But that's where Leicester are going to struggle here. Because you're playing against a side that you've got to try and break open. There's no patterns of play involved at top end of pitch for Leicester, and they aren't all season. They're crap in front of goal. They've got some really good individuals, but they are an horrendous team at top end of pitch. Shocking. I think they're second lowest goal scorers in division anyway. Going up against an Hull side that wants to sit and low block you and spring on a counter and put loads of men forward. And do you think the midfielders are going to be sprinting back after lads that want to get promoted to Premier League? I'll be damned. I am going 0-1 to Hull. Sheffield United. It's a game that you want. Obviously, this late in season, we're nothing to play for. But Blackburn are crap. Ultimately, Sheffield United at home are a decent side. Wilder's going to want to get everybody on side for next season in what he thinks can be a promotion-chasing season again. And ultimately, they're a good team. So I will go to, you know what? I'm going to go 3-1 to Sheffield United against Blackburn. 2 games left. Oh, God. Bad news bears again for some of these sides. Leicester on to Millwall. They're going to be an automatic promotion contention, genuinely. Millwall are going to win. I'm just saying it. Millwall are going to win that game. Just move on. Oxford at home to Sheff Wednesday. It's a real banana skin, this near end. A real banana skin. And I remember who's got them last game as well. I know who's got Wednesday last game. And we'll come on to it obviously in a sec. But this is an horrible fixture because there has never been any pressure on Wednesday all season. Ever. They're a crap team. They're already relegated. But they're playing for a chance to actually get a game next season. They're this shit for a reason. I know they've got all stuff going on behind the scenes and they've had all these points off. But ultimately, them players are crap. So you've got to try and impress a little bit to make sure you're not playing non-league next season. Because the shit, majority of these players are horrendous. If you want a shirt next season for anybody, you've got to put it in last couple of games. And when there's no pressure on you, compared to Oxford, there's going to be a lot of pressure on in this game. If you want, it's all going to be, if you want to stop up, you've got to beat Sheff Wednesday last couple of games, especially when Blackburn are away at Southampton and Leicester are playing automatic promotion contending Millwall. Do you know what I mean? Everything's sort of stacked in Oxford's favour for this game. But I think Bloomfield's a good manager. They've actually got the leaders, I think, Oxford, in right positions in middle of park, get back for. I think they've got the players that they need to drag them through something like this. And they should do, because Wednesday is shit. I think this is a goal difference changer, to be honest. I don't know what it's like at minute, but I'm going to go 3-0 to Oxford. Blackburn away at Southampton, probably get absolutely bummed. Pompey away at Stoke. Oh, man. Oh, thing is, this is where I want to know what the table is so that I can go and check it to see can Portsmouth afford a draw? Because it completely depends what the results mean as to how they're going to go and play. If Portsmouth need a draw here, they're going to go and sit 10 men behind the ball and try and spring a counter. If they need to win, they're going to go for it, and it might be 5 apiece. You know what I mean? Anything could happen here. I'm just going to guess that Portsmouth are in a decent position. I'm going to guess at minute that Portsmouth are like 4th, 5th bottom. I think they will come for a draw, and to be honest, I think they'll get it, 1 apiece. West Brom, as much as I've given them a lot of points, Ipswich at home. Ipswich are a cracking side. They don't lose many, if any. I know they've got a lot of draws recently at the time. We're obviously recording this, and that'll have changed, obviously, at this point. But I don't see West Brom beating Ipswich. I think they will lose 2-1, which takes us to our last games. Oh, my Lord. So, some big stuff here for this last game. First up, we've obviously got Blackburn and Leicester playing each other, which we'll come to in a minute. Oxford are away at Millwall, who could get promoted to Premier League that game. Portsmouth have probably got, and I know you're going to stand, I'm going to stand after you. I think Portsmouth have got pick-up bunch, playing a Birmingham side that are crap away and have got nothing to play for at this stage. And West Brom go away to Sheffield Wednesday, potentially needed a win on last day to stay up. We're going to finish on minus points. I think we'll go least to most important here. Oxford, even though I think they'll stay up, I think I've given him enough points to stay up. On last day, again, it's not a side that you want to play at all, and it's proper Millwall to probably mess this up. They could get promoted with points here and lose 1-0. That is just the most textbook Millwall thing of all time. But I do think Oxford will lose that to 0. I think Millwall will win that if they've got a chance of getting in there. And even if they're not, I don't think Alex Neil is the type of man to rotate all his teams to prepare for playoffs. I think they will go for it, and I think they will win. So Oxford will lose on last day. Portsmouth at home to Birmingham. I actually think Portsmouth will win that. Again, it's last day. They're going to be bang up for it. Atmosphere for that will be absolutely nuts. Birmingham all season, and you can't just say this and then give them a win against anybody. I think the fact they're playing Birmingham or shit away. Chris Davis has never changed his tactics once because he's never needed to in League One. He's needed to this season, and I don't think he's up to job. I really don't. And whatever Mousinho throws at him, they could change at half time, and I think Birmingham will just go and win, lads. Come on. And it's just not going to work. You're going into the Lions Den here for the last game of season away at Portsmouth. I don't think Birmingham are going to be up for it. I think Portsmouth get a goal, and I think they get a few. I remember winning league against Barnsley when they won, obviously they won League One title a couple of years ago. And the atmosphere was just crazy. It was nuts. I am going to go 3-1 to Portsmouth, which probably seals deal for them, and I think they'd stay up there on last day. I don't know. We'll find out in a sec. Sheffield Wednesday at home to West Brom. Now, I genuinely could see, with the way football works, if West Brom only need a point to survive, they're going to take probably 10,000, because it's just going to be full of West Brom fans at home end as well. They'll take boatloads to Wednesday away, a side that's on minus points. Wednesday have won 1 game all season. If West Brom needed a point, they'd lose 1-0. It just is how it goes. It absolutely is how it goes. When there's that much pressure on decent footballers and big clubs, that's when you start to see them crumble. But the fact that I think they're safe here, regardless of what happens, I think that West Brom are fine. So I still think Wednesday will might get a couple of goals here. I will go Sheffield Wednesday 2, West Brom 5. We'll just go for loads. I remember, obviously, they played Luton at home last season when Luton had to win to stay up, and I think it was like 5-4 or something. It was something ridiculous. But I think West Brom win. But I imagine they're safe anyway here. Now, in what is probably the biggest game for the rest of the season, Blackburn play Leicester on last day. And if we know anything about Blackburn, as proved with West Brom game, Blackburn are going to give Leicester full ground. If Leicester wanted it, Blackburn would probably roll over and give 30,000 seats. And it wouldn't surprise me at all with their owners. And as much as I've battered Leicester on this constantly, I know there's no pressure on them, but they have got the quality to be horrendous football teams like Blackburn. I'm sorry to say it, Blackburn fans, but you have got the worst side here. You have. You've got the worst owner. Again, this isn't going to sound well, but you've got the worst probably fan base and atmosphere going into this. There is nothing, apart from the manager who's very good, there is nothing that points me towards thinking that Blackburn are going to win many games, get enough points, or survive. They've got a 4-point head start, I think, obviously, before I put all my results in. But I think Blackburn are doomed. I really do. Unless that 4 points is enough to keep them up now, the gap that's there, I don't see Blackburn winning many games. And I think on last day, I vision that Leicester, with the quality that they have got in certain positions, I could see them, and they're playing for moves ultimately, or not, because there's not that much brass. But I think Leicester on last day would win 2-1. So I envision a Leicester win on the last day. And when I calculate this now, I scroll down, and this is going to be what the table is. So, here we go. We're 18th. First surviving team in 19th place is West Brom. Right, I'm not surprised at that because I think I get them a few wins on 53 points there. That's quite a lot to, yeah, you'd envision being like 19th, 18th, wouldn't you anyway, with like mid-50s points. But I think I get them a few wins. I think they've got best running. I think they're playing the best now that Interim's actually got a grip of him and he's getting him a kick up arse. I think West Brom look a lot better, so I'm not surprised with that. 20th and staying up is Portsmouth, also on 53 points. I think I get him a couple wins, yeah, but I didn't think I'd get him that many. I thought that West Brom would have been a lot higher than rest of sides. Based on the results that I've put in, I thought it'd been West Brom 53, for example, and Portsmouth on like 50. I think they'd have been a bit in front, so I'm surprised with that, but I'm not ultimately surprised to see Portsmouth stop up, because I think they're playing best out of them all, really, and include West Brom in that. They're just not scoring enough. So, 21st, and the last surviving side, before we look at who actually gets relegated, is Oxford on 48. Okay, so going into the last day, Portsmouth and West Brom look like they'll be all right anyway because they're that far in front. I've got Oxford staying up. Oh, God. That just really ain't good then, is it? So even if Blackburn win on last day against Leicester, it don't matter. Leicester win but still get relegated. I had Oxford losing anyway last day. I went Millwall, didn't I? So if everything that I've said is right, then Leicester and Blackburn will be down on last day anyway. I think that is actually the way that I said it. Oh, no, I said Leicester 23rd and Blackburn 22nd, actually. But I don't see Blackburn picking many points. So I'm not surprised, honestly, to see them two get relegated. I'm surprised that I've got Portsmouth having that many points, in fairness. But Leicester and Blackburn, yeah, I'm really not surprised, boys, to see that as the outcome in this. But that's that. Absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe if you do enjoy. If you want to do this, I'll leave a link to the website at bottom if you want to do this. And let me know who you think's getting relegated. Let me know. Thank you very much for watching. See you in a bit.
I say I'm a man. Yes, I'm a mucker. I think of me saying there's a right good looker. I say up that. Show us bit it.